Today you're gonna watch a complete beginner go from this to this on Freeskates. So when people first see these things, they tend to think, wow, those look insanely hard. And for the longest time, I've had this vision of a video where someone takes these skates for 30 days and learns. Well, Kyle actually went and did just that. So in this video, I wanna go over all of his 30-day progression footage. And then on day 31, we're actually gonna meet him in person, learn a bit more about him, skate with him. And then on that day, he actually pulled off some pretty insane stuff to finish off the month. But before we get there, of course, we have to start with day one. He's unboxing the Freeskates. This is his first pair. He's never touched these before. Here's the first attempt. Here's 8 minutes in, kind of rolling around. 10 minutes in. For 15 minutes in, this is above average and actually pretty impressive. So I wanted to go ahead and get some of Kyle's thoughts on how that went.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little cocky. I was like, oh, I got that. And it's funny watching it now too. I was so stiff. With day one, I'd probably go back and just reiterate just patience and take it day by day and it'll pay off.
Before moving on to day two, I wanted to go ahead and ask Kyle what made him start free skating in the first place.
I was actually looking for a pair of rollerblades for my fiance, and then so your guys' ads started popping up. It looked very freeing to me in the sense that I like to surf skate a lot and surf and skateboard and do all that stuff, and it looked like a way to get even more free with it. A wide range of motion is what I'm looking for.
Day two started out strong with some pumping, which is kind of crazy. He spent this day working on figuring out the motion, which you'll hear from Kyle was one of his big goals, was just the freeing motion of free skating. And overall, this day was making baby steps.
It was just 1 foot at a time, but I could feel it. I was like, okay, that felt good. And then I'd feel on my back one. There was like one point where all it just felt like was frustrating. But then that first little glimpse that I got when I was like starting to feel I was moving and having a little bit of pump is where it hooked me. And I was like, okay, I know I can do this. I just need to practice it.
Day three. This is the video where Kyle actually took the skates outside. You can see here he's starting to test some new terrains. And clearly he's starting to feel a bit more of a flow here. He's already practicing standing still in this video, which is miles ahead of where I was or where any of us were, let's be honest.
It was day three when I actually started posting on Instagram. The people were all really cool. It's a very niche community and it's not big yet, but I'm hoping it gets bigger because everybody's super welcoming and nobody was trying to push me out of it. It seems like everybody supports everybody within it, which has only made me want to do this even more.
Day four, Kyle is already practicing the switch it, which is when you swap the skates. But clearly in this video, it was a bit of a struggle for him. So this is just a lot of practicing and eventually lands it later in the video, which I think is sick.
I think I was very frustrated in the moment, but then that all went away once I actually got it. It was completely worth it.
Day five, Kyle actually received an order from us and started practicing his back foot kickflips, which for, I mean, day five, that's insane. I don't know why he's doing that on day five, but more power to him. And then of course he closed out this day with another cruising sesh. Day number 6 was a big day for Kyle. This is taking it to the skate park for the very first time and seeing what that change of incline is like. I feel like I relate to this a lot. I remember taking my skates out to the skate park for the first time, and the change in incline and not being on flat ground anymore was scary. And the abrupt transitions and all of that were hard to deal with. So I wanted to see what this was like for Kyle and overall just see how the learning curve was for him so far on day 6.
I thought I wouldn't be able to go to a skate park at all. And I just went down some small ramps, but then that also opened it up for me going, oh, okay, this is possible. And at times I don't feel like I'm really progressing, but then I go back and watch the videos and go, okay, 20 days ago, feel like I'm better than I was then. I thought my learning curve was gonna be very flat and then come up, but I feel like it started out just climbing.
Day 7 was actually a beautiful video. It's just him cruising, which, like I said, is his main motivation for this. Day 8 was similar. He also worked on flow. This is also the day where Kyle shifted his focus of the series from riding every day until I ride for JMK and be sponsored to I want to be sponsored, but I'm going to ride every day so I improve myself and see if I can ride it out for at least 365 days.
I want to just do this every single day and really give people an authentic view of how to, of somebody learning how to do these.
We're going to start speeding through some of these days so that we can get to day 31 where we actually meet up with him and skate and see some really cool tricks. Day 9, it rained, so he went to a parking garage and practiced some of his skills there. On day 10, he worked a little bit more on standing still, but he also practiced some 1-foot riding, which this is a common trend in Kyle's progression. He's just practicing a lot of this stuff way early, which more power to him. I feel like the more of these clips we see online, the faster people are going to start to progress like this. But he finished out that day with rehashing some other skills and tricks. Day 11 is where Kyle really started to practice carving downhill and learning to slow down sharply. You can see he's struggling a little bit, but he's figuring it out in this video by taking wide sweeping turns. And yeah, day 11, perfectly normal to start practicing that stuff. And you can't practice slowing down early enough. On day 12, he practiced the throwback for an hour and a half. Learning the throwback in the first month is like not a requirement, but of course with Kyle, he had to do it and practice it for an hour and a half, which is something that I did when I landed my first throwback. So if that tells you anything, to land your first throwback, I think you need persistence and just trying over and over again, and maybe some breaks in between. But of course, on that day, he ended up landing one and rolling away. Let's hear a bit more from Kyle on how that went.
I posted a lot of my tries on that video, but it only touches the tip of the iceberg on just how many tries it took. It felt like it was several hundred, and I think when I timed it, it was something like an hour and a half or 2 hours of just trying that one trick just over and over. And I mean, by the time you reset, it's only like maybe 15, 20 seconds within like each try, but it's so worth it once you end up getting it. And coming from my skateboarding background, I feel like that's what I'm so used to, that because that's how it is. You try a trick over and over and over again until you land it, and it's frustrating, but that's part of why we love it.
Day 13, he landed another throwback, but this time in about 5 tries. And then for the rest of the video, worked on some of his skills and flow. Day 14 was another parking garage day. He spent 30 minutes on the skates. On day 15, Kyle continued to practice the throwback and worked on some other skills. Day 16, continued to hone in on those skills. A little bit of 1-foot practice, a little bit of bananas, which is when you throw the skate out in front of you. Day 17, Kyle worked on some throws again and continued practicing in the parking garage. Day 18, there was this cool little curb trick that he did where he rode on top of it and then rode back down. A lot harder than it looks, especially for day 18. He also did a really cool throw trick in this video. And then on day 19, he received an order from us, which included a backpack, grip, new set of skates as backup. And then to finish out this day, for whatever reason, Kyle decides to go on a 5.5-mile cruise. So I wanted to chat with him about that.
Just cruising, that's one thing I never get frustrated with. It's always just a good time flowing around. The longest one that I've done is 5.5 miles. That was without really taking any breaks. I got off the skates, I think twice. Once to let some bikers by, and then another time to just to turn around and stuff.
Day 20 was St. Patty's, so he wore all green. This was, of course, another parking garage session where he practiced a bunch of tricks, just getting things down more and more. Day 21, he found a nice location on his way to work, which I thought was sick. It's like a nice, open, like big pavement. Anywhere nice and open where you can skate, and also as smooth as this one, is just awesome for learning and just free skaters in general. Whenever we see a nice, big, smooth piece of pavement, we gotta skate that, not optional. On day 22, Kyle practiced dropping in the skate park. Crazy. And also tried out some new tricks using different features in the skate park. So now Kyle's starting to change the height of some of his different tricks where he's throwing it down onto a ledge and stuff like that. That's pretty fun to see. On day 23, Kyle found this cool little grass gap that he was able to kind of ride in between. On this day, he also practiced other tricks like manuals. Day 24 was pumping in the skate park, which is kind of when you're flowing off the different, curvature of the skate park. As well as it looked like he practiced dropping into a bowl, which he said was easier than expected. Day 25, Kyle went to Van's skate park, where a lot of people looked to be asking about the skates, which I think is cool. Day 26, he went back to Van's skate park and practiced his skate park flow a little bit on that day. Day 27, new skate park, where he tried rolling in and fell. That's gonna happen. I think there's a surprising lack of falls in Kyle's progression over these 30 days, and I'm pretty sure he has his skateboarder instincts to thank for that. He's not practicing anything crazy up till this point, but I will say it's probably refreshing for everyone to see that even Kyle falls sometimes. Of course, Kyle tried again and he got it, and then he even landed heel stalls, which could be another thing that just comes from being a skateboarder and wanting to try things like that. Heel stall is when you come up to a coping and stall towards your back, towards your heel. After that, he cruised around in the park a bit, and then on day 28, there was this cool, extremely early morning eerie skate sesh that he had in the darkness, and he was able to squeeze that in for his day 28. Day 29, he found a time in the evening to get some nice practice in. And then finally on day 30, Kyle went to the skate park in the morning for a bit, came up with this cool rail trick. And at this point, he's just trying to get creative. It's day 30, the world is his oyster now that he has this foundation of being a free skater. But of course, let's move on to day 31, where we actually get to meet Kyle in person for the first time.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What is it, day 31?
Is it 31 today? That's cool.
I know, dude.
And he just decided to make some videos.
Honestly, yeah, like, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna film my progress, because why not? And then after like 3 days, I was like, it just keeps me going, so.
No, it's been fun though. I'm at that point right now, just like being so new that it feels like I learn something new like every day, and that's what I like.
Now that we were acquainted, we just wanted to spend this day skating together, learning more about Kyle. Whenever there's a new free skater on the scene, and I think all free skaters can kind of relate to this, everybody's kind of wondering who they are. They want to be friends with them, learn more about them, how long have you been skating, this and that. And I think it's been really cool to watch the whole community rally around Kyle and kind of watch his progression unfold. But let's skate with Kyle a bit, learn a bit more about him, and then of course we'll get to some pretty nasty tricks that he was able to do on day 31.
No way. You tried a no grab? That's crazy.
I saw you do it, and I was like, I gotta try that. I feel like what it's done for me is created a deeper sense of discipline for me because of my wanting to free skate every day. I didn't think I'd be able to progress this much. I don't think I'm anything special, so I just hope it can motivate other people to see how if you put in the work, you can really progress really quick with these. It's very exciting because I wake up every day itching to try something new and just to get on the skates. Even explaining these to my fiance and stuff, I just feel like a little kid. I'm talking about free skates again. I love doing all my other stuff like skateboarding and stuff like that and surfing, but this is still just a feeling like I haven't got yet. It feels like you're just floating. I wanted to show people a real version of a beginner, so maybe they get motivated to go, you know what, let me give that a shot. If this guy can do it, I can do it, and that's 100% what it is, because if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Really hope you enjoyed this documentation of Kyle learning to free skate. If you want to see a similar progression video of learning in a lot shorter amount of time and what that looks like, go ahead and click here. Thank you so much for watching, and roll with us.